think at one point they dropped it too far, and so the actor,
And then it also had to go back up.
yeah, and it also go back up, and so the actors like had genuine fear on their face whenever that happened. It was really funny.
Hello and welcome to HLGU True News, the show where we tell you the true news here on campus. I'm your host, Andrew Cole, and we have a good story today, folks. On April 13th through the 15th, the HLGU Theater Department gave us The Play That Goes Wrong, written by Henry Lewis, Henry Shields, and Jonathan Sayer. Today we have two of the actors joining us today, Kaylin Nessler and Rhett Simpson. They played Sandra and Trevor respectively, and I am thrilled to have them on the show today. Thank you guys for joining us. How are you all doing today?
A little tired.
I'm also a little tired, but as usual.
Especially after being in a show. So.
Right, yeah, I could imagine. So I just have a few questions for you guys today, just to kind of get a deeper insight on the show and what it was like being a part of it. So question number one, can you guys each just tell me a little bit about your characters?
Yeah, of course. I played Trevor, who is the sound guy that was for the show, the actor sound guy. My tech board had nothing to do with the actual show, so I just made it look like I just did stuff. But character is a huge fan of Duran Duran. That was one of the plot points in the show, and we really just didn't want to be there, but like Chris probably just forced him to be there, so he just goofed off pretty much the entire time.
Gotcha.
So my character's a little weird because my character was an actress playing a character. So my character's name was Sandra, and in the play, inside of The Play That Goes Wrong, is called The Murder at Haversham Manor. And in The Murder at Haversham Manor, she played Florence Collymore. But Sandra's just a very stuck-up actress who thinks that she's all that and more when she's not. So, I mean, she was a fun character to play.
While you guys were putting the show together, what would you say was the most technical aspect of the play?
Platform.
I'd say a platform.
Yeah. So we had, for anybody who didn't see the show, we had a platform that collapsed in on itself and actually collapsed on top of Rhett.
It was quite scary.
So we had to come up, well, not we, Sabrina Brookshire and Jordan Hosmer, some of our wonderful staff here, they came up with a counterweight system so that it could collapse safely with people on it. And so it was really complicated, but it worked out in the end. So
yeah, and it actually had 3 different levels of collapsing as it fell through the second act. We had a fake beam, like support beam, that would be taken out, and we had a few crew members in the back lifting the counterweight system, and then would drop it or lift up on it to collapse the platform a little bit. And so as the show's going, they're going to have to quietly take off the counterweights as less and less people are on the platform. And so that was also one of the complicated timing aspects as well.
I know when I was watching the show, watching that platform slowly collapse, both on the Friday night showing, the Saturday night showing, just trying to imagine being on that platform, because I don't like heights.
It's only 6 feet tall.
Right. But still, I guess it's more the fear of falling that I have. And so the platform tipping slowly, I think, would have thrown me off pretty bad. So I don't know if the other actors that were on that platform had any sort of fear of that, but I know that's where I probably would have been.
At first they did. The first time we dropped it, that was actually really funny.
It was. I actually have a video of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they were so surprised. They didn't know how far it was going or anything like that. And so it was really funny.
Yeah, we were very much still working the mechanics of dropping the platform. So I think at one point they dropped it too far. And so
and then it also had to go back up.
Yeah, and it also go back up. And so the actors had genuine fear on their face whenever that happened. It was really funny.
Speaking of your fellow castmates, who was one of your favorite people to work alongside during the show?
Asking me to make a biased statement.
If you have one.
Personally, I would say I grew to have a relationship with pretty much everyone on the cast in different ways. But one of the people where I hung out with pretty much the most would be Brandon. The Fuscos. He played Chris / Inspector Carter in the show, and he was just a super fun guy to work with, and I looked more up to him as a older brother kind of type. Yeah, he was just a lot of fun.
I would say I did really enjoy getting to fight the girl who played Annie, Caitlin Browning. That was super fun. It's funny because we actually like each other, but we got to duke it out every night, and so it was really fun.
At what point did you guys feel like the show had finally come together during the process?
The last week.
It was, we were having aspects of the show that didn't fully come together until probably like the very last night of rehearsals on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And like even into Thursday morning, we were kind of still tweaking things to make sure they were extra prepared.
Yeah, that's pretty normal for things to come together right at the last second in a theater production. I think this one, it was just extra stressful because there were so many things that...
Yeah, so many physicalities and technicalities.
I say things that go wrong, but things that were meant to go wrong that wouldn't go wrong, or things that went wrong that were definitely not meant to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just kind of scary. And then that night before, we're always staying super late finishing the set. I think I was there till like 2:30 Wednesday night / Thursday morning, I guess.
I was only there till 1 o'clock, so...
But yeah, it just comes together really last minute, but it always works out in the end, so it's part of the fun.
Did you guys have a favorite part of that lead up to show night, or was it kind of just one big blur for you guys?
I will say one memory I have is our second dress rehearsal. There's a part in the show where we have to we drink some it's flammable and corrosive liquid, and it's just been water the entire time. It's water, and we pretend to spit it out, and then it's gross. The second night, our lovely director, stage manager, and assistant stage manager decided that we're going to put something actually nasty in there, and so they put citric acid in the water. Didn't tell any of us. But you know how you're supposed to put a drop of citric acid in there? I think they put 15 or 20 of them.
Jeez.
It was
like a big old spoonful.
It was disgusting. It was terrible, especially when you expect water, and it doesn't have a color or anything. And so, it was terrible, but it was funny. One of our castmates, Jeremy Kerfman, he was not happy.
What was really funny was because even though I played a fake sound guy, I still had the headphones on with the rest of the crew, and so Callie Fusco, our stage manager, sorry, she's like, guys, I put citric acid in their drinks tonight, and so as this is all playing out, all of their faces the first night, the actors, when they drank it, was it was so funny because it and everything.
It was terrible.
It's great from my perspective.
With you being on the headset, though, too, I just remember being backstage and hearing Caitlin and Sarah complaining about you singing Duran Duran or reading magazines into the headset.
I had just a play magazine that had different plays in there. I was just reading different ones. There were some very interesting ones, which I'll not talk about, but...
I'd be curious what those were, but I feel like maybe we should move on.
You can ask me off podcast.
Okay.
Oh.
They're not that bad.
Going into the show nights, was there a particular moment during either of the three shows that you would say was your favorite part?
I mean, for me, Trevor obviously being not wanting to do things, but he had to. At one point, he's moving the bookcase, which is supposed to be on a turntable, and a secret bookcase, quote unquote. And I actually get stuck on it, and so I have to run across the stage, and then somebody knocks on the door, meaning I can't be caught on stage, so I end up just climbing inside the clock. Well, eventually, Sandra, Kaylin's character, she comes out as Florence again, and she kicks the clock, which scares my character, so I bust it open, slamming it into her and knock her out.
With the door.
Then
they drag my unconscious body into the clock and leave me there to die.
Shut it. And then, but because we have to keep the show going, Max, or Jordan Hosmer's character, he forces the script into my hands and makes me play Florence. And so my very first line, I just think this is the funniest one. It's but Arthur, how can you resist me? I'm a beautiful woman. And like just the pure randomness that caused that. It was just like, it sucks for Trevor, but like anything else, everybody else, it's so great.
I will say, I think one of my favorite things was hearing audience reactions, because we did it for months and months without any reactions at all. And then the first night especially, because we were so caught off guard by it, especially like the first time the platform falls, there's like genuine like terror, because like that's scary, you know, especially when there's people up there. And then when I'm inside the clock, they actually moved the clock with me inside of it. And people always thought that I got out of it somehow, but no, I'm in it, and then I come out of it, and people are always really surprised when I come out of it. And so that was always one of my favorite.
Across the 3 shows, in a show that is supposed to go wrong, there are things that go actually wrong too. So what things went wrong during those 3 show nights that weren't supposed to go wrong?
We broke the bookshelf.
Yeah, so the bookshelf where I get stuck on, there's actually 2 people, one of our crew members and I, that are moving it to make it swivel and turn and all that. And so we turn once and get one of the characters through, and they're supposed to turn it again to get the other person through, and then again for me to pop through unexpectedly. Well, we got one character through and we're fine. We got another character through and it started making some creaking noises, and we're like, oh crap, what does that mean? And then as we're trying to get me through, the entire bookshelf, like the flat around it, starts breaking because the turntable had lodged itself off of the support beam and was twisting itself into the flat itself. And so we had to cover, because I needed to be out there anyway to get in the clock and then come out as Florence. And so I had to cover and you basically just run out around it and be like, what the heck is going on? Why did this do it? And then I realized I'm on stage. And so that was like a scary going wrong thing for me.
It was quite scary to hear, because I'm backstage helping re-weight the platform in between falls. And all of a sudden I hear this crack, 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 from the wall just breaking off. And I'm like, what is happening? And so it was interesting for sure.
Did anything else break or go wrong?
I mean, things fell off the wall before they were supposed to.
But it just kind of added to the show. It wasn't like a
you can just
super
kind of
big deal.
Put it back and
Right.
move on.
Okay. Which night of performances was your favorite and why?
Saturday, the audience was just so electric, and like they were responding really well, and it was super fun. I think it was also our closing night. All of us just kind of were like, let's, all or nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I think Saturday was definitely our best night.
Yeah. Each night had like its own uniqueness. Like every audience is different in any aspect. And so Thursday was fun, Friday was fun, but like Caitlin said, Saturday was just like electrified. We didn't have like too many more people, we had like a bit more people, and everyone was so into the show with every character. And so like they were laughing at pretty much everything that happened. I mean, which was good, but like it also made the show take a lot longer because we had to pause for lines. So so many times.
And it's so nice to hear people laughing, but there gets a point where you're standing up there and like it feels so long when you're standing up there. You're like, I can't say anything until you're done. And so it was really great, but it was also definitely a challenge, because having to have the patience and the thought of mind to sit and wait for them to be done laughing so you don't run over them, because in comedy, if you run over people laughing, they'll start missing things, and then they'll be like, oh, I can't laugh because I'm going to miss something. So then you'll stop getting that audience response. Wow. And so it was very crucial that we did that correctly.
Jordan Hosmer's character he kind of played up to the audience because he liked that, or his character liked that satisfaction. So he would always like make gestures to the audience of like, is he doing a good job? Do they like what he's doing? Like during a sword fight and stuff like that. And so that would just add like so much more to it, because people were like standing up, they were clapping, they were whistling and everything just for his character alone. And so that's just like a small taste of what they did for everybody else too.
Overall, how would you guys describe your experience?
It was super fun.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Would do again.
10 out of 10.
I mean, it was unlike any show I've ever done before. I mean, like especially of a comedy, like there were people constantly laughing, which is not normal usually because you have a lot of focus on a story still, even in a comedy. And in this one, like it was it was all for the bit, and so it was really fun. And I don't think there'll ever be another show like it that I'll do. But yeah.
So I'm a freshman, and so last November we had student directed one acts. So it's like my first taste of college acting, but this was a full length play as my first time in college, and so just like the environment and the technical aspects and everything, it was so much fun.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time.
Darn.
So I'd like to thank you both so much for being here today. This was an amazing experience to have you guys come in and talk about the show.
Thank you.
So this brings us to the end of our show today. I hope everyone listening was just as entertained as I was in the studio today, and I hope you all were able to go see the show of The Play That Goes Wrong, as it was phenomenal to watch. This has been HLGU True News, signing off.